All right, so this is how I figure out my percentages when I give a call and I say take profits, it's up 50% or 100% or whatever it is. I'm not a mathematician and I'm not a genius. I can't just figure what that is. And so I use this calculator. It's a percentage calculator. I'll put the link into the chat here. It's calculatorsoup.com. So what I do is there's this drop-down list here, and you select it and you come down to X plus what percent is Y. And then in the first box, you put, this is going to be where you put the original premium cost of the original call. So let's see our current SPY call. What did I say that was here? Go back. All right, so that was 118. And what it's currently at is 137. Hit calculate, and we're currently up 16%. So that SPY put's actually, it's actually going back up now. So we were at like 35% at one point. When this hit down here, we had about 35% profit. So for scalping, you guys need to get in and get out. As soon as you reach your profit point, whether it be whatever you set it as, if you say I'm going to take profits at 10% or I'm going to take profits at 30%, whatever that profit point is, you have to be ready to take your profits and get out, because it's a same day expiration, and therefore the theta is 100%. You will lose all of your money if you hold this overnight. You'll go to zero. So you have to know what you're doing. You got to be careful. And when you enter these calls, you just got to be ready to take those profits. Looks like we might see it start coming back down here. Let's see. Yeah, so this could be actually looking pretty good. Let's see where we're at. We're at 170 now. All right, so let's open up our calculator back up, change this to 170. So now we're up 45%, and it's still going. 185, 56% profit. Let me just make that alert. You see, I just made that alert and it's already changed. Like, so with scalping, it's very difficult to get a good entry and send an alert out at the same time. So you guys aren't typically going to get the exact entry that I put in there, but you're just gonna have to trust that it's going to work out. Oh man, this thing's flying. We're at 190, 192. So we're up 60%, and it's still going. So looking at this chart here, here's how you find the supply and demand zone. So I drew these earlier. I drew the first one after about 15 minutes of the day. So what happens is I do this on the 5-minute candle. Let me get rid of these white lines so that they're not confusing anybody. So as you can see, the first 5-minute candle was a doji. The second 5-minute, we went up, we hit a certain point, and we closed. And then the next one, we hit around that point, and then we started coming down. So as you can see, this spot right here is around the price that buyers and sellers agree that they don't want to see it go any higher than. So we've already got our supply zone. And so as soon as that supply zone is hit, it started coming down. Now, at this point, in order to find your demand zone, it's going to take a while. You usually want to wait sometimes half the day before you can actually get a good demand zone. So my original demand zone I thought was going to be right here. And that's when I put out the call from earlier for a scalp. and it ended up continuing farther. So my timing was off. I should have waited a little bit longer to find a good demand zone, but this looks like a pretty good demand zone right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got almost 6 candles with good support here in this demand zone. So as soon as I found this demand zone, it started going all the way back up. And now, as you can see, it hit our original supply zone here. And I posted that, and it's been coming back down. And this put that we just put in, I didn't enter this, but I hope some of you guys did, because this thing's flying. We're at 235 currently. Let's see. Let me pull up my calculator again. Oh, we just hit 100%. Just hit 100%. Take profits. Don't bag hold. All right. That's basically the gist of supply and demand on scalping a SPY. So now, in between the supply and this is major supply and major demand here, but there's also support and resistance in between. And so that's why we see these little bounces and stuff. So that's what those lines were before that I drew. So we've got a resistance line here. We've got a support line here, which it seems to have bounced off of that again here. So we could see this, if this doesn't push past this current resistance line, we could see it continue all the way down to this old support before bouncing. And then, who knows what's going to happen throughout the rest of the day. Let's see, let's just watch it for a second here and see if it pushes past this resistance. If it does, I'm going to say, if you haven't already taken profits on the SPY put, then I would, if it pushes past this resistance here, I would get out. If not, I would just wait to see if it continues downward. So we're just going to kind of watch it here for a minute and see what happens. Can you hear me okay? Is my mic good? Hopefully I'm not talking to myself. And it looks like it's bouncing. It's trying to push past it, but it might reject here. Let's see what happens. All right, it's rejecting. And this is our resistance here. This is where we drew this line from. This is where we drew this resistance line. It's from these two candles right here, because you can see it came up and then it pushed back down. So this is our resistance. After it pushed past this resistance, it made it all the way up to our major supply zone before getting pushed back down, which is what it's doing now. So we're going to wait for this candle to close and see what happens. And this is basically how you scalp the SPY, but it's not 100% foolproof. It's not, scalping the SPY is extremely dangerous. It's a quick way to lose a lot of money. So if you're going to scalp the SPY using this method, make sure you guys go light. I don't scalp on the 1 minute chart, Gonzalo. No, I use the 5 minute. The reason I use the 5 minute is because I'm not scalping 100 times a day. I'm looking for major supply and major demand zones. If I was getting in and out all day long, then yeah, I would use like a 30-second chart or a 1 minute chart or something like that. I have not tried the super trend indicator. I'm not sure what that even is. Is that in TradingView? Let's see, we've got another minute left on this candle. Let's see if it doesn't push past this resistance here, I'm guessing it's going to continue to fall to this support. It's trying though. It's trying to get up past that resistance, but it keeps getting rejected, as you can see. Each time it hits that line, it gets bounced back down. And now it looks like sellers are taking control of the candle. All right, we got about 12 more seconds left on this candle. Buyers are coming in and try one last push to try to get it above that resistance line, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So here's the new candle, and now I think it's going to fall here. Let's see what happens. Nope, it's gonna push. It's really trying to get past that resistance line. Come on, fall, you can do it. Remember I said if it pushes past this resistance line, we're going to get out of that trade, and it looks like it's pushing past. Not confirmed yet. I want the candle to close above this resistance line. Okay, that's enough for me. Time to get out of the trade. So if you guys have not taken profit yet, which it was 100% profit from the time we called this put, if you have not taken profit, now's a good time to get out because this might bounce back up. So scalping 101, this is basically how I scalp the SPY. But like I said, it's really difficult to put out calls on this stuff. And I'll only put out a call if I think there's going to be a move that lasts over several minutes. That way, when you guys don't get in at the exact price that I saw it at and put the call out at because it moves so fast, you'll at least get some profit. It'll at least continue the move for a little while. I'm not going to put out a play that's going to take 5 seconds and then you're in and out because it's pointless. There's no point in putting out a play like that. All right, let's do some charting on our watch list and see what we've got. Let's just take a look at our plays from Friday. We had put plays. We had 3 plays and all 3 of them hit. So at the open, we had BAC at the open. It began to drop. It looked like it tried to start to recover, and then it came actually all the way down to about 42.59-ish, and has since then recovered. So this was a very good profit on BAC. Let me see, what did I call our profit at? Going back up to BAC chart. 100%. So we hit 100% on BAC. We also had Ford. So the Ford chart looks a lot like the BAC chart. We dropped all the way down to 1880 and got some nice profits on our Ford put play. Hopefully you guys, and this is a prime example of why you got to take profits. Like if you get greedy and you try to continue to hold, this is what happens. Like you lose all those profits. You gotta set realistic goals for yourself, whatever it may be, 15%, 30%, 50%, depending on how many contracts you got. And then make sure that you're selling at those profit points. Don't bag hold. And then we also had Walmart. All right, so Walmart, another winner, dropped all the way down to our old support line here of about 137.40-ish. Let's take a look. Actually, let me log into Thinkorswim here and see what our profit actually was for the day on this. Because with Thinkorswim on the active trader, you can actually see what the price, what the premium reached that day. And for you guys that are tuning in late, I went over the supply and demand zones for scalping on SPY, and this is going to be recorded. So it's in the first 5 minutes of the video. So when it gets posted, just rewatch the first 5 minutes of the video and it'll show you how to set supply and demand zones. But let's see. Okay, so let's go to our active trader and Walmart currently at 320. Let me look over on Discord and see what we said it. We called it at. We called it at 201 was our premium for the 139p for 2/4 expiration. So it actually hit 350 today. So let's pull up our little handy dandy profit calculator. And 201 was our premium that we called. And it hit 350. As you can see here, this is how high it got. If it's gray, if this premium is gray, it means it hasn't reached that yet. If it's black, it means it reached it. So it actually got as low today as 207, but that's still higher than our original call. Reached as high as 350. So let's input that 350. And it's a 74% win. So it's currently at 320. So let's see what that's at. Let's see what percent that is. So 320, 60%, 59%. So let me see when the last alert I put out was for Walmart. 10%, 20%, 50%. 50% was the highest one I put in last. So currently at 60%. I'm not going to put out another alert for that because I don't want to bombard you guys with too many alerts. But if you guys haven't taken profits yet on Walmart, I would take them. So that's 3 for 3 for our swings with over 50% profit for each, with one each actually hitting 100%. Not too shabby. So back to our chart. Let's go back to the SPY for a minute. So still falling here. Put another line here. So yep, it's going to fall past this support line here. Oh man. So if you guys are still in this SPY play, let's see what we're at. So the call was 428p for 118 on a 124 same day expiration. And this is basically how I this is basically how I give you guys your percentages and tell you when to take your profits. I use this calculator. All right, and the current price, as I'm looking at Webull here, you guys can't see it, but the current price of this put is $260. We're well over 100%. 120%. So I'm just going to set that one out as an alert. Up to, oh man, it's still going. It's at 285. Up 140%. All right, I'm not gonna send this alert out yet until it's done. Let me check this candle. She's still falling. It hit our demand zone, or our supply zone here perfectly. It's at 293. All right, 293. Oh, drop back down to 280. And we'll call it 280. We'll call it 140%. All right. Hopefully you guys got in on it. Hopefully you guys got in on that. Love to see you guys making profits. This could very well be a dead cat bounce too. So if we look at it on the daily, look at the huge gap down on SPY. Look at this massive gap down. Let's actually draw this gap here. Draw a parallel channel. And we use, there's not even a wick here on Friday's candle. But normally you'll go from wick to wick. Draw it as straight as possible. And then you go to the top of the wick. And I like to make the gap fills green. So there's the gap that we need to fill still. But that could take a while because that's quite a gap down. So we have been having a major sell-off the past week or so on SPY. And one of the major reasons for that is the interest rate hikes. The same thing is happening with Bitcoin because it seems to be following the market a bit. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. So on the daily with Bitcoin, seems to be recovering a little bit today, but it's still red for the day. We're all the way down to, we actually dropped below 35K to, oh man, we hit almost just under 33K today. A lot of people consider Bitcoin to be a hedge against inflation. And with interest rate hikes, people are starting to think that inflation might be getting started to put into check. And therefore they might be trying to liquidate some of their cryptocurrency for this reason. But it also goes with FUD and fear in the market, the greed and fear index and all of that. So my stance on cryptocurrency is I don't try to scalp it because it's just way too volatile. It's way too difficult to try to scalp, especially with the fees that you pay through whatever it be, like Voyager or Coinbase, whatever you're using, there's fees. Even if they say there's no fees, like Voyager says no fees, but at the same time, you've got, they don't fill you at the perfect price. They fill you a little bit higher than you should be filled. So that basically covers the fees. So it's hidden fees. So when you consider that, you take that into account, trying to scalp, it's just not worth it. So my stance on cryptocurrency is I'm bullish in the long term, always will be. Am I a little biased? Yes, because I hold it. But at the same time, if you look at in the past, I mean, just 2 years ago, Bitcoin was what, $3,000-$4,000? I mean, that's a massive increase over just a couple of years. 35K right now from just a couple of years ago, that's a huge increase. Let's take a look at the rainbow chart once. Oh, sorry about that. Let me mute my phone. All right, let's pull up the rainbow chart. Bitcoin rainbow chart. All right, I got to turn off my dark reader. Oh, that's bright. Okay. So here we have our Bitcoin rainbow chart, and this goes all the way back to when Bitcoin first came about, back in 2012-ish. So as you can see, it's been going up and down this rainbow chart, but ever since its creation, it's been making higher lows and higher highs. We're currently sitting in this green zone, almost into the accumulate zone. So it's got this legend up here that tells you what each one of these rainbow colors means. The red part here is maximum bubble territory. Basically what that means is if you have big enough balls to hold until it gets to the red, you might want to sell because there's a good chance that it's going to start coming back down towards the blue. Reddish yellow or reddish orange is sell, seriously sell. Orange is FOMO intensifies. Light orange is this a bubble? People aren't sure if it's a bubble yet, but it's getting close. Yellow is hold. Green or yellowish green is still cheap. Green is accumulate, which is where we're at now. In other words, it's a good time to buy. If it drops down to the next one, which is like an aqua, it's buy in all caps with an exclamation point. Basically, it's a really good time to buy. And then if it hits this blue, it's basically a fire sale. So when we look at this chart, like I said, in the past, it has reached, once it reaches max bubble territory, it starts to work its way back down. I can see Bitcoin. Let's just zoom out a little bit. Well, not zoom out, but let's look into the future and try to make a prediction. So even if this dropped all the way down over the next few months to 20K, if it does hit this blue, it's going to bounce. Let's pretend that's our projection there. So what we're looking at here is January of 2024. It's 2 years out, but we're looking at $417,000 per Bitcoin. Guys, I mean, this thing has not broken out of the rainbow. So for you guys that are, I'm sure it's none of you guys, but if anybody is saying crypto's dead or it's going to zero, you're completely wrong. It's not going to zero. It's a healthy correction. And we're going to see this thing skyrocket in the future. I'm sure of it. Not financial advice, by the way. All right. Enough about Bitcoin. Enough about crypto. Let's take a look. Since we're still in this SPY call, I want to take a look at this again just to make sure. 428, 280. So we're sitting at 280. Yeah, it's still right around 140% returns. Let me turn my dark reader back on. All right, let's find some swings. All right, Macy's. Macy's actually broke out of the downtrend today. So we could see a continuation on Macy's. Let's see if Macy's got any nice, news. Macy's honors Black History Month. Why Macy's and Nordstrom shares are rising today. Let's see. Let's take a look at this news. I'm just going to skim through it and then I'll let you know if I see anything that's Starboard value-backed Acacia Research offered to pay $64 per share for Kohl's, according to a CNBC report citing people familiar with the proposals, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it looks like they might be getting bought out. Is that what I'm reading? See letters expressing interest in acquiring it. Yep. So Kohl's and Macy's. Is Kohl's the same as Macy's? Hold on a second. Is Macy's I don't know. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but Kohl's came up with the Macy's news, so I'm assuming that they're related somehow. So if it was to be acquired, then yes, it would skyrocket. Let's see here. Blink gap down and a little bit of a recovery today. But yeah, I guess you could call this support here. It's not very strong support. But you could call it support. We might see a bounce, but then again, I'm a little worried about bounces because we could very well be seeing a dead cat bounce. What a dead cat bounce is basically when something's falling so hard, it'll have a little bounce and then it'll continue on its downfall. Kind of like throwing a cat off a building and it bounces when it hits the ground. It's still going to die, but you know, that's kind of where that comes from. Take a look at Disney. 3 gap downs in a row. Look at Disney. My God, man. Earnings coming up February 9th. I like the candle though. I do like the buyer's wick on this candle. This gap was filled also. So let's look at this gap here. Let's draw this gap out. So what I'm looking at is this gap right here. So I'm going to draw that out. All right, so yeah, as you can see, the gap was pretty much filled today. So we could see a reversal here on Disney. There's another gap here that needs to be filled. So if we draw this gap out, and there's another small gap right here. Look at all these gaps on Disney. My God, man. And then we have another small one here. I don't even think this one's worth putting there. So we'll just leave that one. Let's look at Disney News and see if there's anything that might pump it. Nothing. Nothing for Disney. With earnings so close, I don't know. I just hate to go against the trend. The only thing I'm looking at here is this this candle with the nice buyer's wick and the gap that was filled, which could signify a reversal. So we'd be looking at probably something like that. I'll add this to the playlist and we'll come back to it. Speaking of playlist, let me clear it out. Oh, it is cleared. I cleared it out earlier. Never mind. American Airlines. Made some good money off American Airlines not too long ago. A little bit of a bounce today. Uber. Bouncing. Neo. Neo's not looking too good, guys, to be honest. I don't know who's all bullish on Neo, but I could actually see this continue to fall here because there's currently no support for it until Let's get rid of this. Get rid of this. So this is resistance here. This is all resistance. I guess you could consider this a support here because it kind of bounced off the bottom of this here. So we could call that a support. So let's make a horizontal line there. Got another one here. This was a gap up, so can't really call that support. This line here, this might be a little bit of support here. So we'll put that one out. Get rid of these. And then let's go back over here and take a look. So we still got a ways to come down on Neil. So we're currently sitting at $24 roughly, and we'd be looking at least a 3-point move. So if we look at Neo puts, we're going to want to go out to January 20th is definitely too close. I want to say February 18th. Let's do February 11th, so it's a weekly. So if we're looking at puts, we're going to want something in between our current price and our strike price. The way puts work is you are signing a contract stating that I can sell this many, 100 shares of this stock at this price. You can sell them at this price. That's the difference between a call. At a call, you're saying that you can buy shares at this price. But when you say you can sell calls at this price or sell the stock at this price, you want to meet somewhere in the middle, because if our strike price is, let's say our strike price is $20, right? So if I have a contract that says I can sell 100 shares of NEO at $20 and it doesn't reach $20, then it expires worthless. We wanted to enter the money during our call, during the duration of our call. So we'd probably be looking for something around $23. So that way, let's put this line here and let's make it a dotted line so that we know it's our strike price. All right. So let's say we purchase a contract that expires on February 11th. February 11 expiry. We want the cost of this stock to reach this strike price line before this vertical expiration line. So that's what we're looking at. So I'm thinking around $23. So let's take a look here at the $23 puts. So we're looking at about $160 per contract. We've got a theta of 0.6, which is not bad, and a delta of 37, which is also not bad. I'm going to add this to our watch list or our playlist and come back to it. This will be a possibility. Let's move on. Posh, not looking too good. Only thing is, though, is these wicks here, these buyer's wicks. It's just clear indication of a dead cat bounce. It could very well be a dead cat bounce. Pot stocks still falling. Just extend this guy. Wolf doing a lot of choppage. I don't like the choppage going on. Chop will eat up your contracts because of theta, because of time decay. So if you get into an options contract and you got something like this going on, the price isn't really moving much. Theta is eating away at your contract. And even though it's gaining value, maybe just a little bit of value each day, you're still losing value on your contracts because of theta. So you need bigger moves than this. This is too choppy. We don't want to mess with that. Okay, Sophie, another one with a strong buyer's wick at the bottom, but again, I'm just worried about that dead cat bounce. Oh, they're all starting to do that. Plug, however, this looks, just looking at this, this looks pretty good. I'm telling you, I'll tell you what I see here. What I see here is strong support right here. Okay. Make that a solid line. I see a doji candle with a strong buyer's wick, which many times after a downtrend, this will signify a reversal. If you look at all of these previous candles on this entire downtrend, not once do you see a candle like this. Sure, you've got a doji that's got equal wicks on the top and the bottom, but you don't have a doji with a strong buyer's wick. So what that signifies to me, especially verified by this support over here, could very well be a reversal. So we zoom out. We're right at the bottom of a descending wedge. So a lot of times with a descending wedge, what'll happen is by the time it gets to the apex, it'll shoot lower. But we've got lots of time before that happens. This apex isn't until August. So we could see this bounce all the way back up before coming all the way back down. I like plug a lot. Our next resistance isn't until, well, we've got some resistance here. We've got stronger resistance here. So if we're looking at a play and plug, we're going to look for it to the upside. We're probably looking at around, we could see a $7 move on plug. Let's see what that gives us. We just hit power hour, guys. All right, so we're gonna want to go out a little bit just in case. And this would be one of those ones where it'd be a tight stop loss, because if it pushes back down past our support here, then we're probably going to want to get out because it could continue. But we're going to want to go a little bit out here. So let's say February 18th sounds pretty good. So let's set a vertical line there with February 18th expiration. And we're looking at a 7-point move. Our strike price is going to want to be somewhere in between our $7 move. So let's say $22 for our strike. $22, February 18th. $22. Zero open interest on that one. It's got a 40 delta, 04 theta. That's not bad, but the difference here in price, look at the open interest on the $20. So $20, let me draw this line here and we'll make it dotted so that we can tell which one is actually our strike price line. This one actually looks better, but it's a little bit more expensive. But it has a 54 delta, which is very, very good. And only an 04 theta, which is also very good. All right. I add this to the playlist. I like it. We'll come back to our playlist with once there's about 30 minutes left in the day, we'll come back to our playlist and we'll pick a play or two. PayPal, man, PayPal is a steal right now. I mean, I lost so much money on PayPal, but I just can't see PayPal being so cheap. That's super cheap. $150 per share on PayPal is like unheard of. Earnings coming up February 1st, which worries me. So I'm gonna stay away from PayPal for now until we start to see a clear uptrend. Then we can ride it back up. But until then, we'll just leave it alone. Carvana, we've got a nice, it's almost a bullish engulfing candle here on Carvana. Get rid of these lines here and see if we can do some fresh charting on Carvana. So let's draw a trend line there. Oh, it's too far back. Something like this instead. And let's set some support and resistance lines. So we've got some support right here, which could act as new resistance. And it looks like we've got some support where it bounced off of today. Yeah.
Over here on a phone call, missed 100% return, yo. Fucking shit. I could have turned my $590 to fucking 1,100 plus.
Oh man. Are you talking about the SPY put?
Yeah.
Yeah, brother. That was a good one. Yeah, I went over the supply and demand zones in the beginning of this stream. So so everybody can know like how I set up my supply and demand zones. So it's all recorded. So if people want to see that again, they can just watch the video. But
Yeah, I didn't even know that I could be heard.
Yep, we can hear you, brother.
Sorry about that.
No, you're all good, man. It's good. It's all right.
Yeah.
All right. So Carvana, let me take a look. I am a little bit bullish just because of this big candle here. The fact that we're sitting at support. But it's a little bit dangerous because of the fact that we're sitting at support. So we don't have earnings for a while. We are oversold on the RSI. And if we look at the MACD, it looks like we're starting to work our way back up. So let me take a look at contracts. I have a feeling these are kind of expensive though. Yeah, these are way too expensive. Even if we were just to go to January 28th, Carvana is still way too expensive. We would have to go way out of the money, and I'm not going to do that. So moving on. Facebook, oversold. Like I was saying, I'm worried about a dead cat bounce. That's the only thing I'm worried about, is because with all these stocks in such a downtrend, and then all of a sudden you get one little bump. I mean, that's dead cat bounce if I ever seen one. Like we could just very well see this just push right back down again tomorrow. So that's the only thing that concerns me, is that could be what we're seeing. Twitter. Get rid of this line here. So it's either a dead cat bounce or it's a reversal. You know, I mean, market makers know what's going to happen because they're the ones that control it. We got to do what they do. And so without lots of indicators matching and volume supporting your educated decision, you're basically just guessing, and it's gambling. So we try to minimize that risk by putting as many things together as we possibly can in order to get that, you know, the stars to align. And that's when we give out our plays. Look at this. Every single stock has got one of these strong buy wicks at the end of a downtrend. Every single one. Look at this. Another one. Mara. Mara's green today. That's interesting. Right off of support. Even with Bitcoin down. Oversold. Take a look at the MACD. Oh, Mara might not be bad. Let me take a look here. Let's take a look at some of the other ones. BTBT, that's what BTBT. See what BTBT is doing. Also green today. Also bouncing off support. See what BTBT looks like. These are much cheaper. Very high implied volatility. Very large spread. Very, very large spread. We ain't messing with BTBT. Nope. Mara, maybe. Let's just move on here. Starting to get a little low on time. Take a look at Rocket. Here's another one. Just everything is just, it's basically all the same. Let me go back to the SPY real quick and see what SPY's doing. SPY actually turned green for the day. Oh, never mind. It's back to red. Let's take a look at our 5-minute chart. All right, so back to our supply and demand zone. So we're starting to enter this. We're starting to enter this supply zone again. So now we want to wait for the candle to close before entering any kind of puts, because we want to make sure that it's not going to push past this supply zone. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. So our last put play that we put out, it started to enter the supply zone here. I called it out, gave a play, and it rode down pretty nicely. It was like 100 and something percent gain, but it didn't come all the way down, back down to the demand zone. It actually stopped right here in this support resistance zone right here. So this old resistance became new support in the center of this channel. Now SPY's starting to pump. So let's see what happens here. Let's see if it pushes past the demand zone. If it does, we could go bullish on SPY. It's very close. It's trying. I'll take a drink here real quick. Oh, look at it. It's going to push past. We could see SPY green for the day. If it pushes out of this supply zone, I'm gonna feel bullish on SPY for the day and possibly see green tomorrow, I think. This could mean a reversal instead of just a dead cat bounce. I'm looking at my alerts for crypto, and it looks like crypto's starting to come back up. Oh, look, it's trying so hard. We'll see what happens when this candle closes. There's another 2 minutes on the candle. Give me 1 second, guys. I got to use the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. All right, so let's see what's happening here. Are we rejecting? It looks like we might be rejecting. So it tried to push outside of the supply zone, but it doesn't look like it was able to, and it might be rejecting here. I would wait until the bar closes, though. So while we're watching this, I'll just go over again how I created these supply and demand zones. What was that? What's the matter? You okay? What's up, bud? What happened? My dog must have stepped on something. Be right back. What was it? Did you get bit by something? He's all right. He's a tough guy. Yeah, so we're rejecting. So entering a put right now might not be a bad idea, but it's very risky. Same day expiration be very risky. So we might come back down. At the same time, every once in a while you'll get a red candle in between your green pump candles. So like I said, it's entering this. So the way that we set these supply and demand zones. So we've got our demand zone at the bottom and we've got our supply zone at the top. In the first 15 minutes of the day is when I created this supply zone. So what happened was, 1 second. So we had our first candle end kind of like a doji, and then our second candle pumped up and ended, and then our third candle pushed back down. And so what I saw right here was a price point where buyers and sellers, bears and bulls, both agreed on a price. So they said, okay, this is the price that we want. This is the price that we want to see this not get higher than. And so once that price point was decided, it started coming down. Had a little bounce and then came all the way back down. And I originally thought that this demand zone was going to be right around here. No, right here. But it wasn't. It actually pushed past it. And so my timing was a little bit off on that first call, that first SPY call that we made. So it ended up working out because it pushed past, but it also lost almost 70% on the way. So if you guys respected your stop, if you got into that call and you respected your stop loss, you'd have been out. So I apologize for that. If you would have held like a boss, you would have been up about 40 to 50% or more. No, actually it went up over 100%. So, but at the same time, I mean, you got to respect your stop losses. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's trying to test again. And so these are major supply and demand. So up at the top, we've got major supply. Up at the down at the bottom, we've got major demand. So once it hit major demand, it started pushing back up. And now it's re-entered this major supply zone. And what I was saying about it breaking out of this major supply zone is that's when I would become bullish on SPY for the day, because it will have pushed past the original price point where buyers and sellers agreed that this is the price that we don't want to see it get higher than. Well, bulls might just say, F you, I want to see it go higher, and then they'll take control and it'll go higher. But as you can see, it's rejecting again. So I don't know. We'll just have to see what happens for the day at the end of the day on it. Let's look at a couple more stocks before we pick our picks. Pins pumping today. Let's take a look at the daily. Look at that pins candle today. Damn. Draw us a little trend line here. And when you draw a trend line, you want to connect as many of the candles as you can without going through the candle. Unless you have to, unless there's like a big spike, like over here. Like let's say we wanted to draw a trend line from, say, here down to here. Well, obviously you've got this big spike here. So you're not going to go like this, because then it's just way off. This could have been news, or this could have been money pumping it or whatever. So every once in a while you'll get something like that. So nice big green candle for pins today, but at the same time, when we zoom out, it's still on a downtrend. So I wouldn't necessarily get into pins until it hits this and breaks out past this resistance downtrend line. So we'll set an alert here and we'll call it possible breakout. And if that hits, you guys will get an alert in the Trading View Alerts tab. And that's one of the channels that only members can see. We got Coca-Cola. Huge gap down today, red candle. There's a gap down here that still needs to be filled. Take a look at news for Coke. And I'm on Webull right now. You guys can't see it, but if there's relevant news, then I'll pull it over and you'll be able to see it. No, there's really not. There's not any good news or bad news for Coca-Cola. And it looks like it's bouncing off of this support EMA cloud. These are the Ripster EMA clouds. The green cloud is your resistance. The blue cloud is your support. So it looks like it's bouncing off of the blue EMA cloud. But it could very well push past it tomorrow. And we could see it start to work its way towards a gap fill. Exxon, too choppy. Western Digital, yeah, huge rundown. But we could be looking at a bounce here. We had this support line drawn a long time ago, and it looks like it bounced right off of it. But we've also got earnings coming up this week. So it'd be dangerous to play this. Earnings on the 27th. So we're going to leave that one alone. D-King has been dumping. A little bit of a bounce today. I'm really thinking that this is just a dead cat bounce because, I mean, if you look at this, everything is still in a huge downtrend. It's very far from, you know, this breakout line. DQ. Another one with the green candle with the buyer's wick at the bottom. You know, you gotta ask yourself, I mean, is this a reversal or is this a dead cat bounce? I mean, it's hard to tell, but every single stock is the same. Look at this. Every single one. Gilead Science. This is no longer in play. We can get rid of that. This is bearish engulfing. And I don't really see support. Well, actually, it kind of bounced off a little bit of support here today. Moving on. Same thing with MU. Same kind of candle. Overstock. Set another alert. eBay. There's another one. eBay's not looking great. Look at this massive gap up. When Microsoft acquired ATVI, it just gapped way up, but it's been coming down since. We've got a gap to fill here. I would almost bet on puts. I would say that this gap is going to be filled. But if we look at a trajectory here, let's kind of draw a trajectory of what it's been doing. So by the time this gap is filled, it's probably going to be February 28th. Let's take a look. ATVI. February, let's go with February 25th. Puts, and then we're going to want probably somewhere in between here. Maybe even at the start of it. Say $77 strike price. It's not a bad price. Delta is kind of low. But the reason that it's so low is because it's such a high gap up here. And this isn't even the right gap. This gap was filled already by this gap up. So we need to redraw this. We need to redraw this massive gap here. So let's draw this real quick. So remember, you go from bottom of wick to top of wick on these gaps. Okay. So that's what we're looking at for that gap. That's a massive gap.
Go back to SPY.
What's happening with SPY?
It's let's see where it's at now. It's at 434.44.
Oh, she's pumping.
Yeah, so I'm wondering when to enter. Because I
Oh.
wasn't here the whole time, so
She's pumping. Last 30 minutes of the day. It's broken out of this demand or the supply zone. Yeah, I'm bullish on SPY at this point now. I'd wait though. I'd wait. It could be a fake out, so I would wait. Very oversold or very overbought right now on the 5 minute. Yeah, she's pumping, man.
I'm out of nowhere.
Yeah. I see it's coming back down a little bit. Let me open up our playlist. So we had 3 stocks that were added to the playlist today. We had Disney for a gap fill. I'm gonna put this out. I'm gonna put these 3 out. So Disney, we're looking probably right around 130, probably a 138-ish. And we're going to want to give it a little bit of time. So probably mid-February. Oh, that's a little expensive. Say February 11th, still expensive. These are a little bit more expensive than I like to put out. Let's see what else we got.
The delta on the 142 for February 11th, it's not that bad. It's over 30.
Yeah, it's over 30. The theta's a little high though, at a 0.12.
That's true. Yeah.
I don't like a theta more than a 0.09. If it's 10 or above, I'm not a real big fan of the theta that high. if the theta is that high, then the delta would have to be over 40 for me. Give SPY a minute. I think it's going to pull back a little bit here. Neo, we were talking puts for Neo with a $23 strike price. But now that SPY is pumping, I kind of want to give a call, and I like to plug the best. The reason I like to plug the best is because it's bouncing off major support. We haven't had a candle with this large of a buyer's wick for this entire downtrend. Let's see what we can do with plug. Let's go. We said 20, but it's probably going to be 21 now. February 11th, February 18th. Yeah, we originally said 20 because of all the volume, open interest. The delta, when we looked at it, was 57. Or no, it was 54. It's gained a lot since then. Probably should have entered it when I first saw it. I'm not against going into in the money calls either. Let's give it a minute to pull back and see if we can get a better price on the 20C for February 18th. We could even do February 11th. $24C, February 11th is doable. Very doable. I actually like that. Theta's good. Delta's a little low. So we might even go up one. Spread is a little bit better here. Yeah. All right, we're due February 11th, 23C. That's a decently priced option. So you guys can enter now if you want. I'm gonna put the call out in the Discord right now. I'm gonna enter after I make the call. Remember, go light, guys. A little bit at a time. Just chip away at your portfolios. Don't go too big, because if you lose, then you lose big. You want to lose big. You want to lose small. That way our winners pay for our losers. If you guys look at our recaps every week, we've averaged about 80 to 85% win rate on our calls. If you were to buy one contract from each call and respect your stop losses, you're going to be profitable way more than you're going to lose. You're going to gain way more than you're going to lose. And you minimize your losses big time. So if you lose on a play, so what? Big deal. You're not stressing over it. You're not losing sleep over it. You lose on a play, no big deal. You know you're going to make that money back from the winners. C. Call it 89. We'll go in between. We'll do the mid price of 89. 211, 22. And let's take a look at our stop loss. This stop loss is going to be a little bit tighter because if it pushes back down past this support, then we're going to want to get out. So we'll call it a 30% stop loss. Get rid of this line so it's not confusing. As soon as I put out this, I'm going to jump in on it. All right. SPY pulling back a little bit. All right, plug. I'm going to pull this down here so you guys can watch me enter. If it'll move, come on. Ugh, I got to reload Webull. Stupid Webull desktop. All right. Plug. All right, 211, 23C. We'll get one because this is a super small account. And we'll do, see if we can get filled at, see if we can get filled at 82. Bump it up to 83. There it is. Look at that. I'm up $1 already. It's already a win. Post profits. Okay. So that's that play. I'm debating on whether or not I want to enter this Neo put or this Disney call. The Disney call I like, but it's a little bit more on the expensive side. Yeah, screw it. We'll do it for those who want to enter one that's a little bit more expensive. So we want to go out past earnings. And with earnings coming up February 9th, now it's not that close, I guess. We still got time. So we want to go out a little bit past earnings. So we'll say February 11th. And we could even say the beginning of this gap, a 141. Let's even do 140. Let's see what 140 is. Yeah, 345. Theta's a bit high. But this is also one of those where if it hits, it's going to be big. Because if it hits, it's going to be, we're going to get a gap fill up to 147. So if it hit 147, let's say it hit 147. It's 155. We're talking about, oh, that's not even that much. It's a little bit over 100%. That's not that much for such a big move. No, I can't do it. I can't put it out. I don't like it enough. It's not high enough quality. Maybe we do a YOLO. Do a SPY call YOLO. Like I said, it broke out past our supply zone, so I'm bullish on it now. For YOLOs, always go light. Our last YOLO went 750%. So even if you went light and bought $100 contract, you would have made 800 bucks, you know? So let's go with 438C. No, this is for 24th. We need to go for 26th. God, look at the theta, man. What would it take to get to 446? Oh, it's very doable. It's very doable. All right, let's call it a 446. All right, 446C. Copy. 12 minutes left in the day. $199. 126. 60% stop loss. I'm going to enter that myself on Robinhood. Wait, no, I'm not. I don't have enough buying power on Robinhood because I just bought 100 shares of Hood, which I'm actually up on. You're welcome. Okay. So I'm not able to enter that one myself because I don't have the buying power on any of my accounts. So I do still want to enter a SPY call YOLO though. So I think I'm going to go with a farther out one, which is riskier. So I'm going to do the 448 for 126 on my Webull account. Because if SPY pops tomorrow, it's going to pop big. Damn it, it's a pumping already, man. I'm losing it here. God, I just lost my entry. Son of a. I got to wait for it to come back down. Hopefully you guys got in on that one when I called it. Just lost my entry. Holy man, SPY's pumping.
I day traded that one just now for 20%.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
Take it.
Nice
Hell
call,
yeah.
man.
Thank you.
I might re-enter the swing though.
Yeah, it's gonna have to come back down for me to swing it. I tried to get
Yeah,
in.
for real.
I tried to get in and I lost my entry. I'm not gonna chase it. All right. Let's see what that one's currently at. Actually, pull this back up. 446C at 126, 446. We're currently at 237, 238. Copy. Yep, it's already there. Okay. 240. Still going. Still going, my friends. Let's pull up our calculator. Call it at 199. And we are currently at 246. Up 23%. Yeah, nothing wrong with taking profits before, just because it's called out as a swing doesn't mean you can't take profits. If you got a day trade, use it, take them profits. Nothing wrong with that at all. All right, 251. Get this. I prefer to use Trading View rather than the freaking TOS charts. I don't like the TOS charts. 266. Still climbing. $272. Yep, I missed my entry by a lot. It ain't coming back down. Son of a gun. Well, there's always going to be more. We're up 35%. Man, SPY seems to be where it's at to make the money. Problem is that if you don't call it right, you can lose just as much money just as fast. So just got to be careful. Like I was explaining earlier with these SPY scalps, it's very hard to see an entry and then go and put it out in an alert in time for it. It's going to move a little bit. With the scalps, they go so fast that by the time you make the alert, it's already moved a few points. So just because it's moved a few points doesn't mean that it's not still a good entry. So 5 minutes left in the day. Let's see what happens with SPY here at the end. Just the one plug play for me for today. A little bit of a pullback. All right, I'm going to change this to, since we got 5 minutes left, I'm going to change this to the 1 minute chart. And so over here, we're looking at the current price of our option. We got in at 199. So we're still way up. We're swinging this because this is a YOLO. So tomorrow, what we want to see is a massive gap up. We want to see this thing at like, we want to see SPY at like $500. We'll see what happens. Going back up. Look at this rally today. Like, look at this. We made money on the way down and we made money on the way back up. That's how you got to do it, guys. Don't be biased in the market. Don't just be a bear or a bull. You got to be both. You got to play what the market gives you. If the market gives you lemons, put that shit in your drink. All right, 3 minutes left, guys. Are we gonna finish strong, or are we gonna sell off? Either way, like I said, it broke out past this supply zone here. So I've become bullish on the SPY. And even if there's a sell-off in the last minute of the day, I'm still bullish. I still think we're gonna start to recover tomorrow. I missed my entry on SPY. I wanted to get in with you guys. Unfortunately, I wasn't fast enough to give the alert and enter. I don't enter and then give the alert. That's not fair. I'd rather get the alert out as quickly as I can. So looking pretty good. 2 minutes left. Let's see if we can push past this resistance line right here that I just made. See if we can push past that before the end of the day. We got another minute and a half to do it. There it is. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. There you go. Yeah. Get up there. Oh, yeah. It's a bull day tomorrow, baby. Let's go. We're at 292, boys and girls. $292. Boom. 45% winner. The sell-off right at the end of the day. Come on. That's all right. Just give me a buyer's wick. Just give me a 30-second buyer's wick and I'll be happy. There you go. There you go. Push. There it is. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. That's a buyer's wick, ladies and gentlemen. And we're green. Come on, let's hear that bell. Killing me here. Push. There it is. Congratulations. All right. Now we're in the aftermarket. Now the volume's low. Now what happens doesn't matter until the pre-market. So, I mean, it matters, but not as much. All right, guys. Hopefully this has helped you out in understanding scalp trading. We'll do some more of this in our future streams. Once Ray's feeling better, he's going to put out a video for you guys on how he makes his calls and the thought process behind it and his watch lists and stuff like that. So look out for that. But give the man time because he's got COVID and it sucks. Gonna have to give him time to recover. But if you guys got any questions, I'll answer them before I leave for the day. But otherwise, that's going to be the end of the stream. All righty. We'll see you guys tomorrow when the market opens. Catch you guys later. Peace out.